What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is Sunday, the 22nd of January, on a overcast day here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And some of you are enjoying your day off. Some of you are recovering for your weekend. You had an eventful weekend, and some you may be in a place of reflection. But wherever you are, I hope you are well. I hope you are preparing for a new week, a new season, as well as new experiences that will be the roadmap that will require you to validate your existence, because we're talking about you, y'all. That's right. Because many times I find myself looking from afar, observing, being aware, and the one recurring thought process of what's being uh, presented, I always wonder what that person may have been thinking and the importance of the outcome. So I'm going to put this video out and ask you this. For wherever you are right now in the placement of your life, does it validate your emotional state? Because it should. Did you hear what I said? Does your environment reflect your emotional state that is within you? Because if it isn't, you have to acknowledge why. You have to allow yourself to be transparent and to allow yourself to be objective, to ask the questions so that the solutions that are needed can be manifested so that your free will can be embraced. But see, this is 2017, y'all, and this year is going to require you to do something a little different. That's right. For some, this is going to be a year that you're going to hear your voice for the very first time. You say, well, how is that possible? I'm able to hear my voice for the very first time. I've been hearing my voice as long as I can speak. No, I'm talking about the real you, not the imitation or the presentation that's given outside your door for acceptance. Yes, some of you are going to feel a breaking off of things that may have suppressed you or you may have been denied, because truth, it is going to be the key that is going to unlock what you have been denied. I say this for one sole reason, y'all. Because if you choose to stay the course, not rock the boat, turn a blind eye, or even deflect everything that you have gone through, everything that you have felt, everything that you've been denied, was in vain. Did you hear what I said? It was in vain. And I refuse to believe your life does not matter, because it does matter. But see, right now we live in placing cubic zirconias on the same status and value of that diamond. That diamond is your life. Yeah, it is. and it is fighting for validity. No. You know how I always echo? You need to embrace that beautiful word no, because the word no does not mean forever. It means under review. So are you going to let another week go by, or another 6 months, or another year go by, and the status quo is still the same? Because you do understand, as long as you refuse to connect to the who you really are, not that persona. Because I'm gonna tell you what, as long as you're embracing that persona, that persona is going to do one thing: it's going to deplete you from what you rightfully are entitled to, and that's your life. That persona will never give ownership or accountability. It also will not support those wounds and scars, because there's a lot of you that have been, unfortunately, convinced that, well, if there's no pain, there's no gain. The real question should be is, where's the intellect in that? Where's the ownership in that? Where's the truth in that? Because I'm going to tell you what's not there. This is for somebody. You may hear it in the background, Howard, Melvin, and the Blue Notes. If you don't know me, I know that's for somebody, because that song speaks to your soul. You will never, never, never know. See, that song right there speaks volumes to somebody, because you know that the jig is up, the charade has been seen, the veil has come down, and you realize the validity of what was given that makes your perceptions don't hold water. And it's got you feeling a certain kind of way. But here's what you don't realize is that's okay, because the real you is trying to connect to who you are on this planet. How can you call yourself being at peace if you don't have inner peace? How can you understand the value of your worth if you don't claim it first? So we're in a world now, y'all, where it's all about, I want to get the last word, not listening to what should be heard within ourselves first. And guess what? Here comes the hard part, because I'm trying to reach the intended heart and mind. Some of y'all are going to have to make the choice to let go, to step back, take a side, and claim you. How about claim your life back? Because when you decide to claim your life back, everything that makes your reality will fall in suit, will fall in sync, will be aligned. But the price of that is you'll see those who never wanted you to see that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Why is it the people that have access to your life want to keep turmoil going on? Why is it they always got something to say, but they don't have anything to add to the building of you? You know why? It's because if you build on you, then that means the focus on them is gone. And they can't afford that. That's why misery loves company. But I know this to be true. As long as you decide not to put God first in your life, you don't have one. Hmm? They supposed to be an extension of you. You supposed to have a commonality formed and forged by love by way of spirit. You guys don't even talk. You act like mortal enemies, like strangers in the same room, same space. Why? Because the veil came off, the mask came off, and you finally saw that person for who they are. Or maybe you heard something and you finally took note, and now the question marks starting to align themselves up. Let's talk about choice. Since we want to keep it real, because that's the only thing you're going to get. Did you know that if you look at your last choice, if you analyze choice, you'll also see the last what caused that choice to be made, and you actually can track it going backwards. Now add the fact of accountability because you were there. Because guess what? It will have no validity. It would not have access. It would not have any impact if you first decided to claim you. But here's the sad part of it. Some of y'all are going to have to come to terms of accepting this fact. There are going to be people that you know that you are at the fork of the road. And because free will is so blessed, because the two gifts God ever gave you was, number one, to unconditionally love yourself. The second was free will, the right to choose. So with that being said, those two things, you can't make no one do anything they don't want to do. But if they do not claim or take accountability for their choices, they'll never have nor be able to claim you back. Why? Because they don't have a relationship with themselves. And as long as they don't have a relationship with themselves, they will always walk in deflection. Where's their ownership in that? How can you find commonality in that? I can tell you why. Misery loves company. Because that's the tool the devil always uses. And that is why it was always spoken biblically in spiritual doctrines that there will be many that will be deceived. Why? Because it's about your mind. If a person has able to influence your mind, they eventually have the ability to sway your movement, because it is about perception. Your perceptions make your behaviors. Your behaviors are validated through your ideologies. But if you don't know you, the answer is disappointment. The answer is neglect. The answer is denial. The outcome is always pain. Who am I talking to? So, you call yourself being strong? You call yourself being hard? I keep saying this until I take my last breath. Fellas, until you decide to bend that knee and place God first in everything you do, nor nothing that you do will come to pass as you wish it to be, but it will not be blessed. But here's the big one. You can't call yourself a man, brother. As long as you follow the doctrine of man, you will always fall short. Why? Because everything that's done in man's hands is temporary. Man will never master forever. So let's talk about the people in the cheap seats once again. 2017, some of y'all are going to have to pick your face up, because you're going to see what happens when that spiritual veil falls. So in a metaphorical way, what I mean is the things that you were not privileged to, the things that you did not know, you are going to be able to see them. And that is why I always try to convey to the intended heart The worst thing you could do is to deny your truth. That's why secrets are the shackles of your growth. Because guess what? As long as you keep that secret, someone's keeping a secret from you. But guess what? What is a secret? A secret is nothing but truth without spoken word. But here's how God works. The person that you feel that you're denying, if they have a relationship with God, if they are able to tap into their discernment, they already know it. They already know it, y'all. And the stronger their faith is, the more they can see. It may manifest in their dreams. It may manifest by any means necessary, because God will use whatever to protect his children. Now, let's not negate what the devil's doing. Because a lot of y'all are still walking around that actually believe that demons don't exist. So if demons don't exist, the devil can't be real. Well, let me ask you this. If the devil didn't exist and demons didn't have a placement, why are you feeling that pain you feeling? Why is it feeling like you got cut? Why is it that chemical release won't go away? That's not indigestion. That's your deception. So what's going on, y'all? A new year, a new administration, and the same still non-accountability. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen too, because I'm going to save some of y'all some of the burden. Number one, you carry your own bags and you carry your own worth. And you have the responsibility to fulfill the promise, which is your purpose, by way of your direction. But the direction cannot come until you connect to him. That's what intimacy is. As I mentioned before, you remember when you was a kid and you was first introduced to puzzles? What do you think your life is? Why do you think it's hidden in shadows? Why? Because God is not going to give you something you ain't ready for. He's not going to turn around and say, here's your blessing. Here's your inheritance, to watch you spoil it. But that devil will. You got people going out for a box of Cracker Jacks and wondering why they're where they are. This is not to condemn you. This is to let you know that you ain't finished living your life. But let's take accountability of it, right? Let's take accountability of it. Because the people that have closest access to you, if they don't have a relationship with God, they don't have a relationship with you. And all they want to do is to put you in formation like you in an egg carton. That's why when you skin that knee, when you bruise that heart, when things fall short, you feel the effect of the negative. But little do you understand, that was a blessing. That was a blessing. There was a blessing that didn't happen. But see, you can't see that. For those who understand what I'm saying, okay, for my music heads, because I'm a music connoisseur, I can go back. And one time I thought I wanted to be a DJ. I have a significant historical data when it comes to music. I love music. I do. But guess what? Why is it that the things that should be treasured, they're imitated? The originality is perverted. And what I mean by perverted, it's not to its highest form or purest form. Why? Because people are afraid to be themselves. You have a campaign of people that all they want to do, and here's the part you ain't gonna like. They have made a conscious decision to destroy your life. Doesn't matter if you related to them. That pain, that burden, that wound is far greater than your relation. And really, when you think about it, we give them a pass because we turn around and say, well, you know what? Oh, no, that's just how Auntie Sarah is. Nah, Auntie Sarah is in turmoil. But we want to turn a blind eye because we're too busy instead of trying to uplift people. But keep in mind, it takes courage to do that. So is protecting your life. What about that? So you're going to have a lot of people in 2017, you're going to have to let go. And be grateful for that. Because there's a lot of people, and I'm not trying to sound mean, there are a lot of people that don't deserve to hear you breathe. There's a lot of people that should not even be able to know your middle name, not should be able to walk. Do you realize what the greatest gift you can give a person? It can't be bought in a store. It's called time. The ability to watch someone grow. You know why God allows people to have access to people and they have transitions of time? It's to serve inspiration for the person that's looking. You ever thought about that? So why are you sitting over there in misery? Why are you, and I'm not trying to say, I love me some Prince. Let me turn this down because I'm getting ready to roll out of here. Some of y'all have I can only put it out for what it is. Some of y'all somehow got the flyer that your life is second rate. What's the point on trying, Gerald? I am not going to have the outcome I want anyway. Well, last time I checked, just look the metaphor of a house. It starts with a brick. If you don't put the bricks down, but if you don't have the foundation, which is the cement is your belief system, what you stand for. If you don't have that in place, guess what? You can't put nothing on top of it. And that's why when the pressure comes, it always crumbles. So, as I was getting ready to say, for those who are, y'all like Fantasia, you know, and she had that song, Sometimes You Lose to Win. Did you listen to the words of what that woman said? If anything, did you look at the projection of her life and all she's gone through and where she is now? But real recognizes real because so we also know this. There are going to still be people jujuing to the beat. And they're going to fall. They're going to fall because you can't play with God, nor should you play with your life. So let's go back to your life. The greatest gift you could ever give somebody is access to watch somebody grow. You can't put a bow in that, but you can put a whole lot of love in that. That's the glue. That's the commitment. That's the authenticity, because there'll never be another you. But guess what? There's a lot of harlots out in this world that want you to stay the course. They want you to not look at you, devalue you, and march your butt right off of that cliff called your destruction. And then you have some that are very intelligent that say, well, that's all right, Gerald. I just, I can change them. I can change them. You can't make nobody do nothing they don't want to do. That's why you get the pushback. You know what that word is, rebellion. But we don't own that. Why? We don't want to admit that your tears are worth more than gold. Your breath is priceless. Because for every breath that you take, you can't get it back. So it's important that you see the value of time. And you know what happens? Some in the 13th hour, they go through something that shakes them to the core, something that shuts them up. And they realize everything that they thought was true was a ruse, was an illusion. And they feel like they're alone. That's when the devil is right there. He wants you to say, yeah, go ahead and kill yourself. That'll just expedite you to where I wanted you to begin with. But you're not alone. You never was. That's why some of y'all need to understand that these setbacks you're going through are really your setups. That is spiritually cleaning the slate of all the things that were distracting you from your viewpoint. Why are you saying in your mind, man, I remember when there was a simpler time. I remember back when, but you can't get back when. But what you will get is the knowledge of the experience. That's why I always echo to you, no matter what you try to do, you can't kill love. You can't. That's what you should be thirsting for. But you will not know the flavor, the taste, until you decide to embrace you. Come on now. Come on now. You realize how many people are walking around that are schizophrenic, sociopathic, narcissistic, bipolar, and they feel that, well, you know what? I can partially identify that there's something wrong with me. Well, if you understand that there's something going on with you and you valued your life, why won't you focus on healing that? Why are we not? But we want to turn around and take platforms and saying, well, I'm this way because of that. You're this way because of the person in the mirror begging you to go the other way. Because as long as you embrace a mindset of escape, you'll never find what you seek. Now let's go back to what I was saying previous. Remember when you were a child and the first time you were introduced to that puzzle? You may have looked at that box and, okay, it looks like this. And you started putting on Perfect Song. Perfect Song. Family, this is the season of the ant and the grasshopper. And metaphorically, what this means is there is going to be a division. And you're going to be forced to choose on which side of that choice is going to be. And it's going to fall back down onto those who believe and those who do not. And what's going to happen? Those who do not believe are going to try to take a platform to convince you that everything that they got going on is better than where you are. And I'm going to tell you what, that is nothing but a ruse. That is nothing but a trick for you to concede and surrender everything about you to join them. That's why misery is like a long table that goes for forever. But there's no love at that table. There's no truth at that table. There's nothing but denial. There's no accountability there. And let me tell you something. Some of y'all may have been reared in an environment where literally it felt like you were raised in Beirut. There was no love being presented from Your parents, if they were together, are single, and you were basing your knowledge and experience off of what was the environment. Let me tell you something. That ain't where you are, but it is if you choose to remain there. But what you don't realize, for every person that has gone through a setback, every person that has gone through some type of abuse, emotionally, physically, socially, you do understand that was a spiritual attack, right? And the end goal was to sway your perception so that you could pretty much destroy yourself systematically. But let me tell you something. There are those people that will always see your worth, will always speak your truth, but will spiritually respect boundaries as they are. It's not their life and it's not their business for you to grow yours. But they're going to pray that you make it through whatever you're going through because that's truth. You are the living example. I explained this before. Your ancestors, for those who want to be, that want to take the template of heritage. Do you actually believe your ancestors are smiling in the world we live in today? Do you actually think so? I used to always say, if your ancestors had the ability to come back into your life, like step out of a closet to have a moment with you, would they embrace you with a switch or open arms? Because there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that were sacrificed. There was a lot of prayers that were spoken. And you are the example of those prayers. But if you, long as you embrace your fear, you'll never be able to embrace you. You won't. You won't. But at the end of the day, that's free will. Because see, I can't make you do you. Only you can embrace you. That's why I scream as hard as I can. Do you know who you are? Do you know? Because if you knew who you were, why aren't you doing everything to protect the value of it? Why are you giving anyone the right to sway your dreams and hopes? Why are you allowing anyone to desecrate that sacred body of yours? How about that mind? Because when the damage is done, they're not going to be there. And the sad thing about it is this: every pain you've gone through, every tear that was shed, every disappointment that was placed before you, until you decide to answer the call of that little boy, that little girl that lives inside you, because that's the real you, you're basically saying it was for nothing. It was in vain. That's not your story. Mm-mm. So don't be surprised when the veil comes off and what you spoke in the past has come to review. Be prepared for what is harvested from it. Just make sure it's the best you. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. And you know what's sad, y'all? You're going to have some people, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what they've seen, no matter what they've experienced, they're not going to claim their life. They're not. They're just going to continue to make excuses for it. And the reason for that is they don't want to own the choices that they have made. Who benefits from that? It's not God. How about those people that are going to walk behind you? What about them? How about them? What about the unborn that is going to come from your lineage? Hmm? You ever thought about that? Because sooner or later, we cannot escape death. And you're going to have that hashtag between your birth and your death date. And somebody's going to speak upon you and they're going to ask about you historically. If today was your last day, what would they say about you? But that's okay. You ain't got to listen to me, because the fact of the matter is this: every family member that has hurt you, every person that you decided to, that you had given your heart to, any person that you had broke bread with, that had treated you with unkindness, you basically said, I don't care. You get a free pass. And that's what is really sad. You put your status over your heart. It's kind of foolish, don't you think? Because guess what? Status has changed. So do possessions, but not your respect. But what do I know? I want you to have the happiness that you deserve. Because when you decide to claim that, guess what? The person in that mirror will finally be able to breathe. You're worth it, y'all. Have a safe and blessed weekend. I hope you have a blessed week. Love to hear from you. If you're feeling what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up. If you're not, thumbs down. You're entitled to your opinion. But with that being said, if you ain't feeling what I'm saying, have the courage at least to converse with me so maybe I can learn something. Remember, what is a community? What is a society without knowledge? I'll tell you what it is. It's a disappointment. Be blessed.